This is John with Campaign for Cash, and I am a big supporter of Ron Paul. I have done a comparative analysis of all GOP candidates' donation pages, and here are the shocking results. Ron Paul finishes dead last. My website links directly to the campaign donation page, and I am extremely disappointed with the layout of this page. Now, before you start sending me nasty emails, look over this video and try and prove me wrong. If not, let's work together to take care of this problem. One of my biggest concerns was the referred from fields. Michelle Bachmann seemed to do a good job asking from the name or ID of friends who referred them to her campaign. Ron Paul's website stated, "If you have a donation source code, enter it here." I do not know what a donation source code is. It almost sounds something from a computer language. I think this is how the referred to field should look. Friends of Ron's. This will allow people making donations to put in the information if they were referred. Also, it will give them an opportunity to sign up with an account so they can refer others. This will allow the campaign to recognize those who are helping with the Ron Paul fundraising efforts. The other major issue is that all other major candidates have a method for reoccurring donations by credit card. These payments come out on a monthly basis, and some candidates have it to expire either in 12 months, 3 months, or selected by the user. It appears as though Rick Perry has a method of collecting a large one-time payment, with the payment maker making payments thereafter month after month, so that he can get the money immediately when it's needed now. Ron Paul's site has no monthly reoccurring payment options. It seems that this would be a great benefit to Ron Paul with his vast number of small donors. Ron Paul was one of the few candidates to have payments by PayPal. Although upon my first look in reviewing this, I missed that option. I think a simple icon, like Michelle Bachmann has, calls attention to the option for making payments with PayPal much easier than does a small, undescript radio button. 3 of the major candidates had a nice PDF download for a form if you choose to donate via regular mail. Ron Paul did not have any form, nor did many of the other candidates. But this option would ensure that the information needed for campaign donations is collected accurately. This would be a simple thing to add on the donation site instead of just an address of where to mail your check and instructions on what information you need to include with that donation. Another issue is the maximum donation amount requested on the web page. Although $2,500 is the maximum amount that is allowed for the GOP primary, the maximum total amount can be $5,000, where $2,500 could be applied towards the general election. This additional amount will be required when it comes time for the run for the White House. All of the other GOP candidates had the disclosure limits listed clearly on their donation page. Ron Paul had an obscure "click here for additional information" on campaign donation limits in a small, obscure location. This from Ron Paul seems unusual because it is not as transparent as all of the other GOP candidates. Only John Huntsman had a comment form on his donation page seeking input from his donors. I think this would be a great addition to Ron Paul's page, especially when people are parting with their hard-earned cash. They may have some input or just want to wish Ron Paul good luck. I may be getting a little nitpicky, but Ron Paul's donation page does not have a favicon. A favicon is that little icon that comes up in the tab of the browser and over in the browser address bar. Most other candidates have a favicon on their donation page. Newt Gingrich was the only GOP candidate that had a check here to receive email updates button on his donation page. I know there's other methods to get updates from the Ron Paul campaign, but it seems that if you enter the information on the donation page, a simple checkbox would be adequate to get people updates regarding the campaign. Only 2 candidates had links to social media sites, Rick Santorum and Ron Paul. The unfortunate thing is Ron Paul's links were located way at the bottom of the page. It took me 2 to 3 times before I realized there was a link there. These should be moved to a more visible area. There are some general layout issues as well. One of them is that when filling out contact information, it should be laid out more as you would fill out an address on an envelope. I also believe that graphics, icons, and colors should be used to help guide the user in their donation process. This is just a general idea of what I think can be done to help make the donation website much more user-friendly. This is just a concept. I could use help from anybody out there that knows HTML programming who could develop a screen and submit it to the Ron Paul campaign. Based on the above criteria, it appears as though Ron Paul's donation page comes in dead last. We need to try to find members of the official campaign to get them to make appropriate updates to help improve the donation page and, of course, improve donations. There are many important parts to a business. Great products, servicing the customer, and a loyal customer base. But the most important is collecting the cash. A campaign is a business. That's why we need your support in helping to make awareness on this issue of the Ron Paul donation webpage. Thank you.